Yes, this is a hardcore grind interview with author, publisher, and entrepreneur, the fabulous Terrie Branch. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Listen, it's always a pleasure. And so you stay cooking in your kitchen. Like you always got something going on. And I like to go with a go moment. That's my thing. I like to know a lot of times we're mindful about other people, right? And making sure that they're in tune with themselves. And sometimes in ourselves we don't move when we're supposed to. So I just want to talk a little bit about your goal moment. When you decided to say, because you were an author, you've written tons of books, but you switched up a little bit and you did a little pivot. But I want you to talk about the process of switching and doing other things on top of being an author. What's that process like for you?
I think my main thing I started with was the hair. As a young girl, just doing hair in the neighborhood for candy money, starting with my mom, then my aunties, then the next door neighbor, and so on and so forth. And it kind of led to me being a professional stylist. Once I became a professional stylist, not knowing where God was already leading me, he was already training me up for this. I soon met a young lady that was a client of mine, and she had written a book. She was a minister, and she talked me into writing a book. And at first I was kind of reluctant. I was like, I'm just a hairstylist. I'm not a writer. And she talked to me. She said, no, people are saying they like what you're saying about dating. So she talked me into writing down the things they liked that I said. It went from there. Next thing you know, I was coming up with titles, and I self-published my own book, not knowing where to go. I read on the back of a couple people's books and figured it out, got good reviews from it. So it kind of lit fire under my feet. So then I moved forward with reaching out to one of my favorite authors, Kiki Swinson. And I just want to say hi, but I was a little shy, a little scared because I didn't know how, someone of that magnitude in the game would respond to me. And I would fall asleep reading her books at night. They were so interesting to me. And so I started writing, reached out to her, and then once she responded back, I was shocked. And she told me to send in what I was writing now. And I said, well, I'm only 3 chapters, and this was my second book I had started on. And she said, it doesn't matter, just send it. So I sent it to her, the email, got an email back from her office saying that she loved and they loved my what I had written, and was I interested in signing to a series of books. And I did so, and that really stamped it for me. That showed me that never say never. Never think that you can't do something. I was always an avid reader, but I didn't know that I was being conditioned, per se, to become a writer. Once I became a writer, I just kept going and going and going. And next thing you know, I was book touring and getting interviewed. I got interviewed by Writer's Digest, has a national publication called Writer's Market 2017. They interviewed me and placed me in that national publication. That was mind-blowing to me. And so I got a chance to meet great people, including yourself, great people in the industry that, to me, I felt like they helped level me up to where I am now with the writing. I also, within that, was requested to be partners in a franchise entertainment company, which our mother company is in Atlanta, but our home company is in Virginia Beach. And that was a game night for adults, Playdate Hampton Roads. And that came from, again, stemming from that base from hair, meeting people watching me and how I carried myself on social media, things like that. And it just went from there. So everything I've been touching, per se, turns to gold. And I know the reason for that is because along the way I look out for other people. And when you take care of God's kids, his children, he's going to take care of you because you're one of his children too. But I'm not afraid to say that my gifts come from God. I'm not afraid to give him the glory. I'm not afraid to share something with another person or how to do something or how to get to that next level. And I know that that's why I keep being blessed with my real estate and with my publishing company. And it just went from there. And the next thing you know, after all these years of writing, I said, I want to create a space where people like myself, like initially I didn't know where to go. I want to create this space where people can be able to reach out and touch the publisher. They feel comfortable. Some space where they can sit if they came to the office and talk to me and look at me right there in my face, or they can call and they can be on a Zoom and be on the screen and they can watch me. They can see that I'm a real live person. I'm not some robotic type of phone on over the phone. I'm not some some company that could shut down tomorrow, and that's and nothing against the spaces and stuff that's overseas and places that's doing publishing and stuff, but it's nothing like being able to touch and see someone just like you in your own neighborhood, in your own country, doing things like that. So we didn't want people. I wanted to show people how to get published, help them get that way, and without even asking for royalties, just a set fee for whatever they need. Determining, we determine that depending on the person and their situation. It's situational based, but we help them to get out there and we hear for them what they need, but they're not stuck with us per se. They're not under us where we're getting part of their money every time their book sell. And these people are so grateful for that. We actually blown up from this. Like, it just blows my mind how quickly it did that. And we've done people that are attorneys. We've done people that are school board members. We've done people in Africa. We got people in Nashville. We got people in Memphis, Atlanta. We got people all over, and in our own hometown in Hampton Roads, Virginia. And that's mind-blowing to me that you can take one gift and you can meet people along the way. It's like a tree base is my hair styling. And from that salon, all these branches grew. And it was a hairstyle. It was a hairstyling starting first, then meeting somebody with the books, then somebody watching me and saying, wait, we want you to be our partner for this company right here. And all this stuff just blew up. It's just mind-blowing to me every time I think about it, including the realtor. I became a realtor because my son taught me into it. He's a realtor as well. And he's like, Mom, you can do it. You can do everything else. I know you can do it. And I just said, okay, well, I'm going to take the class. I had people say, oh, nobody passed that test. That test's hard. Those tests are hard. You never pass that. In 3 months' time, I was a licensed realtor, and I closed on my first deal within 3 months. I got recognized by the brokerage because they said it usually doesn't happen like that. But when you have that drive and you have God in your heart, when you have a strong mind, nothing can stop you. Nothing.
I love it. I love it. Now, a Black woman who can write is powerful. What does that power mean to you?
I get chills when I think about it. It's an amazing thing to be able to say. When I wrote these amount of words, I wrote this 60,000 or this 80,000 or 90,000 word book. Sometimes I flip through it, and to me, it means inspiration for others. When I see that, all I see is my purpose, to inspire others. So when that power is inspiration, it's like it gave me power to inspire other people. And so that makes me get chills because that's something I love to do, to help people know they can do certain things, So that's what it means to me, because when I look at a book and I say, wait a minute, I wrote all of this, and several of them, that's mind-blowing to me.
I love it. I love it. Now you're writing though, right? And you have a fabulous pen. If nobody has ever checked out her books, y'all have to check out her pen. Her pen is dynamic.
Thank you.
How does your passion and your creativity come together to flow through your pen when you're writing? What is that process like for you?
Well, I'm very innovative. I've always been an avid reader. So I see things. I'm going to give you an example. I was thinking about what am I going to name this book that I have that's murder suspense. And I was thinking, what am I going to name? But I was riding along the street, and I saw street signs that were green. And sometimes colors trickle down to make you remind you of certain things, like orange may remind you of Halloween, for example. Mm-hmm. So I'm riding, and I'm looking at colors, and then I'm thinking, and my title came to me just like that by just looking at the color green. And so being innovative and being having a history of being an avid reader, all that comes together with everyday situations, and that's how I'm able to put those things together to create the literary moments in my book that people can enjoy, because it makes it seem like real life. Some of the situations are real life, but they are kind of twisted where I add a little creative side to it. So I'm able to pull those two things together and come up with great novels for my fans to say, I want to read this book. Because, I mean, it happened with my Gotta Be Sheisty. All three books, I had people reaching out to me to write a fourth part of it, and I was really tired of Jake and Shelley because I was writing about him so much, but everybody kept saying, kill Jake. But Jake, I knew Jake, being creative and knowing how I felt when I read other people's books, where you want that main character gone, but you don't want him gone. So I knew, drag him out because people ain't gonna like him, but he got their attention. So being creative and an avid reader, myself putting that together to create the content that I need to keep my readers engaged.
I love it. Now, you have a million things on your to-do list every day because of the dynamic and fabulous things that you do, not just business-wise, but in the community. How do you manage your time to prevent burning out?
I'm learning to take more self-care time. Today, I was off, and something as small as wanting to wash my little throw rugs that's around the house, like in the bathrooms, at the front door. I got a little rug in my laundry room. Those moments where I can sit there and I had to take them down to the laundry mat versus versus doing them at home because they're too big to put in the washer. And so that moment to go and sit and just watch TV or look at my phone and just not be assigned to a job or publishing or doing hair or anything, just to be able to sit there and be Terrie, just regular Terrie, no, not an author, not a entrepreneur, not with the head of an organization or nothing. I'm just Terrie at that moment, and it gives me time to relax. I think that sometimes we all get caught up so much that we do forget about ourselves, and I had to step back. It's time for you to take a self-care moment. And so scheduling is a big part of that process for me. I schedule everything I do. So there are moments when I say, I got to eat. So I done scheduled this amount of time where I'm not working, I'm not doing anything. I'm learning to get better at that every day because I wasn't so good at self-care time. Initially I was. Then I dropped off because I got so busy. I was so busy trying to please everybody else and everything else I did. And I'm the type that don't want to let anything fall. I don't want anything to go lacking. I always feel like I got to be there. If it's a meeting for this, I got to be there. If it's a meeting for that, I got to be there. But I had to tell myself, sometimes you might miss a meeting or two. And because you're there all the time, that does not mean that you're not concerned or that you're not doing your job or whatever. It's just sometimes you have to shut everything down. So I've learned to get better with it and take care of myself. So those little small self-care moments, something as small as just sitting there looking at your phone, being able to, do something other than work, they're much needed. And I'm glad that I've learned how to do that.
I love it. I love it. Now, you're a very accomplished author, ghostwriter, and publisher. And when people start out in the industry, in the literary industry, sometimes it's very overwhelming. If you had to give an up-and-coming author advice, what would you tell them?
Take your time. Great books are not rushed. I thought in the beginning I had to hurry. Now, they turned out great, but I saw growth in my stuff as I went along, right? But I learned that great things aren't rushed. You take your time to create great content versus quick content, so that you won't have to go back and look later and see so many errors. And to never lose your voice when you're writing, to just stay focused on your voice, but be open to corrective criticism from different organizations or people that's in the industry that means well, that want to see you be great, and to always connect with professionals for your literary work, not just somebody in the neighborhood that say they know how to do something, because those things are important in developing the best book that you can.
Absolutely. Now, African Americans have been pioneering the book industry for many years. Now, how does that make you feel to be part of the elite that's pioneering literature?
It feels amazing. Yeah, it feels amazing. And I'm going to tell you why, because, and I'm not a prejudiced person or anything like that, but what I love to see is our own kind. How cool is it for a little girl, brown girl, to see another little brown girl, just like her, from the neighborhood, just like her, books on Walmart. When I look at that also gives me chills. Because as a little girl, I never dreamed that I just like to read. Judy Blume, and nothing against any author that's not a brown author. I'm just saying, for me, speaking as a woman from a regular old neighborhood, I didn't have any silver spoons in my mouth, none of that. Just a young brown girl that began to write, and now here I am you can go and look at Target and put Target stores and my name in, and up pops my books. So that means so much to me, because I never even dreamed that. I just did it for fun for the first time, and it just took off because I was adamant about, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do professional. I'm going to look professional. I'm going to speak professional. I'm going to dress nice. I'm going to work my butt off to make sure that the whole look, everything is whole, all working together. And so it's an amazing feeling to know that you are, when I'm on a book tour and I see someone like Quan, or I see someone like one of their, I was on a tour with Nikki Turner. And now I have Nikki Turner sitting in my chair to get her hair done. And how cool is that for you to have one of your favorite authors sitting in your chair, you doing their hair, and your author? I was on book tour with her in Richmond. She was a headliner, and we had all the other authors under her. And I was one there, and let me tell you, she made me feel so good when she walked out and said she loved my energy. When she said that to me, she don't even know how much she affected me. She made my heart, I feel like a little girl all over again. Because here this woman, she's writing for movies and stuff now, and she's telling me she liked my energy. It was amazing. It heard just us exchanging numbers, all of that. It just amazed me, because all those people in there, for her to say that to me, it felt like, oh my goodness, I'm rocking with the best. And I didn't even plan this, but God already knew that when I was picking those books up, starting with Judy Blume as a child, reading the little kitty books, a little Curious George, and then next thing you know, I'm reading other books in school. I stayed reading, and now here I am on tours with big name authors that are, you know, in the industry and been in there for, I call veterans in the game. And now they're, that energy that they give me, not even talking about a book, fuels me. When Kiki Swinson did what she did, it fueled me. So fueled me from top to bottom. Like, it made me feel like, okay, go get them. Like somebody just pat me on my back and said, go get them. And so, so it feels amazing to be in that part, be up there with the elite and just rocking with them, you know.
I love it. Now, switching gears a little bit, because you do a lot for your community, which is fabulous. Now, you're on the board of directors for the Meachville House Ministries. You guys provide temporary housing for the homeless. And you're the vice president of the Newport News chapter of the NAACP. Listen, how did those opportunities come about for you?
Well, and I actually attended an event, and that Meachville House had. It was an annual dinner, and I said, wow, they pulled my heartstrings, and I heard the testimonies from the residents that had past and present. And when it pulled my heartstrings, I was like, I have to do something. I'm a hairstylist. Let me see, what can I do to contribute aside from just money? And I said, I got it. I'm going to tell them So I went to the lady and I said, I want to find out what I would like to donate hairstyles to the ladies when they go out for job interviews. How can I do that? She said, we could use you on the board. After she talked to me for a little bit, and I told her what I did in the community and things. And next thing you know, they had me filling out an application for that. They did an interview process or background and things like that. And next thing you know, they had voted me to be on the board of directors, which was so amazing to me. So now we are working together to make things even better for these homeless families, where they're not just caught in a cafeteria or in a gymnasium. They're given temporary. We have an apartment style home where each family have their own room, but it's set up like an apartment. So the children don't have to feel like bad or strange because they're in a big old gymnasium. That can be a shock to a child, and their parents hurting because they don't want the children to see that. But we have it where they in their own like apartment. We have computer rooms for the children, playrooms, computer rooms for the adults, and a whole complete kitchen set up where it's almost like a cafeteria for them. And it's so amazing to be a part of that, because I always dreamed of helping the homeless when I was younger. And here I am faced with a opportunity to be not just helping, but to actually be on the board helping to run this organization. And it feels great with all these other great women and men that are on the board under our chairperson. You know, it's just amazing. The director's amazing. Everybody's amazing. It's just like we all pulling together for the same thing. I remember seeing when I was married, I was riding down the street near my ex-husband, and we were in the car, and I said, and we were younger, I said, why don't they clean under the bridge right there? They out there the city's picking up trash. Why not picking up? He said, baby, that is somebody's clothes. People sleep under that bridge, and I could not imagine how scared somebody be. They sit way up tucked under there, how cold it would be. And back then I said, I want to eventually help the homeless one day, and God brought it to pass. And as far as the NAACP, our branch here, I started out at just being on a committee, women in NAACP, and then getting voted on to the executive board, which I was a membership chair for one of the terms. And then I ran almost a couple of years now, and I became vice president for NAACP in Newport News. And it's a great feeling because we're able to go up to the Capitol and do things when it comes, stand up with our entire NAACP, representing our city's branch, along with our president and other people, and help work, tell people what our opinion on some of the laws or what we would like to see, and to help represent some of our people. So it's a great feeling to be involved with these organizations. Again, something I never even dreamed of. It just happen, you know. And, yeah, so I just feel like you should always have some type of connection in your community with helping build it, because we do a lot of talking about what we don't want to see and what we don't like, but we're not doing anything actively to help change that. And I wanted to be a part of that change, and that's how that all came about.
I love it. I love it. Now, you have real estate, you're publishing, you are active in your community, but you also have a wine line called Clink. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yes. So Clink to this is our wine brand, me and my two partners. And years ago, I wanted to start my own wine, and I put it there. It's almost like set it on the shelf for a little while, because I said, okay, I'm going to come back. I'm gonna get this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start this. And then I became partners with two great friends of mine. One of them been friends with me since we were kids. She was one of the people walking around. Remember when I told you about walking around doing hair in the neighborhood? Well, she was one of the people holding the curling iron. She was one of the people holding those house scissors and that Vaseline that I was going to curl with, because we would get candy money after I finished. And me, her, my cousin, and my sister, and we would just go get us some candy with the money I made, you know. So we became, we had been working on with different vineyards to create our own wine brand. We have saturated a lot of the restaurants around here. We're moving out. It's moving out to other restaurants in other cities. It's just my baby. Like, every store that's been selling has been selling out. It'll be in a lot of the major stores coming up, because it's a wait period once something comes out. Just like a book, is a wait period when it first comes out, and the sales have to show. But we've been blessed, because everywhere it's been selling has been selling out. So we have our first one that we released, and that one is called Red Lush. And then we have, and that's a semi-sweet red with a Cabernet. It is made with a Cabernet grape, and it's a strawberry taste flavor with a hint of chocolate. So then we have a Chardonnay coming. But all of our wines come from different vineyards. We have it created at different vineyards, some on the East Coast, West Coast, even overseas. Our name came from what we call, like, cheers to this. That's where we came up with Clink to this. We wanted to create a brand that people could celebrate their wins just like we do. We used to always get together and say, oh, girl, you got a raise. Let's celebrate. Who going to bring the wine? Who going to bring the cheese? And we would get together and just sit around drinking some wine and laughing and talking and celebrating. So we decided, let's create our own wine and call it Clink to this, and people can use that to celebrate being a great mom, or just to relax, or being a great father, or finishing school, or getting a new job that they wanted. They can clink to this, and people, it just became so catchy that is just amazing. So 3 sister friends creating, we call ourselves sister friends because we like sisters, creating this brand to help bring other people together to celebrate their wins, to salute their wins, just like we would, but with our brand. So we're working on making it a household name.
I love it. So you got wine, you have books, you have real estate. What's next?
And my makeup line. My makeup line is, we're revamping that. I've always had Sheer Boss Cosmetics, but my son is redoing my new website. Actually, my name for my makeup line is Boss Lady Cosmetics, but at the time, another lady I had one called Lady Boss, and I didn't want it to get confused. So we did business as Sheer, SHEERBOSS, all one word, Sheer Boss Cosmetics instead of Boss Lady, because we didn't want the confusion. But once she shut that down, I decided to relaunch it with my regular name on it, Boss Lady, because a lot of my stuff is branded with the boss thing. I never called myself that. My client called me that one day because all the things I do, and it stuck. And so everything, my T-shirt line, everything just Everybody knows me by Boss Lady. I can be in a store and somebody say, hey, Boss Lady. People I don't even know. Well, one man after he take a picture with me, he said, ain't no freak or nothing. I just been watching you and seeing you on social media, and it's just amazing to see somebody do great things, and it's just amazing, an amazing feeling. But yeah, so my makeup line will be relaunched by late spring. We still people are still purchasing that already had accounts, but I'm trying to flip it because I'm doing a different website.
I love it. I love it. You are doing so much. I'm so super proud of you. We've been rocking for a minute. Anytime I call, you are always there. I appreciate you. I always see you moving, and your movement motivates me and it inspires me to keep going. And I thank you for that.
I appreciate you. You know, I'm always going to do that because one thing my mom and my grandmom and them always said, you got to support who supports you. And that got to stick. That got to be how it is. You support other people, but the people that support you, you got to make sure you support them because that's how we lift each other up. When I say lever each other up, that's what I was meaning when I was talking about the publishing company. Just putting my two hands together and letting you step on them so you can get up to that shelf you're trying to reach. And then you doing this, you reaching back down saying, give me a hand, sis. I'm going to pull you up too. So that's what we have to do to make ourselves successful. You know, a lot of people do that. Other races do that, but ours lack in that way. And I want to be a part of pulling my sister or my brother up. The ones that want to be pulled up, because some people you can't. But the ones that want, I'm always going to be there for you. And I appreciate you for always having me because you played a huge role in my success, in my literary career, period. Just hands down. You guys have played a really big part. Your radio, your magazine, all that has really played a huge part, and I really appreciate that because had it not been from some of the interviews and support, I gained fans from those things. I gained I was put in a limelight because of that. It's like, look at this lady shining, and that's amazing. It like really makes me want to get choked up just thinking about it because people got to recognize who helps them, and they got to be willing to say, you know what, you said you need help? Okay, I'm putting my clothes on now. I'm putting my shoes on now. I'm on my way. You know, they got to be able to do that. That's how we grow together. And we can look back and smile at things together when we're all successful together and say, thank you, God, for my sister, for my brother, for my success.
Absolutely. I love it, and I love you. I thank you so much for sharing your time, your space, and your energy with Hardcore Grind Magazine, with my podcast, with Visions and Books, my event that you always are a part of. Before you go, I want you to shout out all of your social media and your website information for those that want to get in contact with you.
Okay. Well, I'll start with the wine. It's just like the name, Clink, C-L-I-N-K, to this. The word spelled out, not the number 2. ClinkToThisWine.com is the website for the wine. My Facebook and Instagram is ClinkToThisWine for that. And then author _Terrie, Terrie _L _Branch for Instagram, and you'll see everything of me on there. My publishing is B&B Publishing, and that's for Branch and Brooks Publishing Company on Facebook and Instagram, spelled out all the way on Facebook. And on Facebook, my name is Terrie, Terrie, Boss Lady Branch, and you can kind of click on some of everything I do under there, and it'll take you to the sites or wherever. And my children's books are about my little dog, and his name is Marley, and it's the Marley Book Collection on Instagram and the Marley Collection on Facebook without the word book. And
I love it.
And that's pretty much it.